let's feature Spotty and me. So I wanted to talk about the arm of flesh, which for me is an actual literal thing. I yeah, that's not it's arm, yeah. So I am right-handed. I am right side dominant. I just do everything that way. The day I was diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome, he asked me a lot of questions about what hand I used to do different tasks. And it all came back right side. And he just kind of went, huh? And he wrote something on his clipboard. I don't know if that's part of it or what. But my dryer is not working right now. It turns, you can hear it, but it doesn't have any heat. But I hung some stuff up. It's still kind of damp. It's going to rain tomorrow, so I can't hang it up tomorrow. So I'm just hoping if I just spin it in the dryer for a while, it'll, be okay. But I've had some accidents with the right arm and hand recently. And I believe that you can point the finger at me for all of it. And interestingly enough, most of it was handout related because the first one was summer of 23. I was at Greens Road in Imperial Valley, and they were doing road work, and there was a sandbag on the median where I was working. And it was a good crowd of recipients. They were very positive, they were very happy. And this one lady came through. She was like Latina, I think. She spoke perfect English though. And she was just praising me to the skies. I was so wonderful. They really needed people like me in a place like that, blah, blah, blah. And I let it get to my head. And I believe when I do something like that, it drops protection on me. Because the next thing I know, I had gone head over heels over a sandbag and broken my right middle finger. This one, I cracked it right here in the middle part. I actually landed on it and then it cracked in the middle. And it was a couple months healing up. I had some bad abrasions on my palm and wrist and the knees. And I'm lying there by the side of the road bleeding, and everybody's just driving by. So, although considering that neighborhood, I don't blame them. I wouldn't stop either because, what disease did I have? But I went to a gas station. I asked to use their bathroom. They said no. So I bought a bottle of water and I used that to irrigate because the wounds were had dirt in them from me falling. And then I went home on the bus thanking Jesus the bus drivers are okay with me getting on like that. Now I carry a first aid kit when I go on handouts that has a cold pack, arnica, and band-aids, and just like some water for irrigation if I have like something thrown on me or whatever, or I just get dirt in a trip and fall injury. And it's sad that I have to do that. And I really thought when I started doing this, that was going to be an issue. But it hasn't been, not really, not until lately. And then last year, March, I had been doing a lot of evangelism on the bus. And I got on the bus one day. I was feeling very sorry for myself. It had been a long, hard day. And I just didn't want to be bothered with anybody. And I got on and I tried to give the driver the candy, and he's like, no, I'm okay. But the woman behind me, a homeless lady, was like, oh, I want it. And I got so aggravated. And I told her, just give me a minute. And I sat down. I gave it to her, but it wasn't with love. It wasn't a blessing the way I gave it to her. And 5 minutes later, I'm screaming in pain after a bad accident, which almost broke my arm. And that still bothers me, especially when the weather's bad. Cold fronts, it gets very tight and achy, right in the middle of the bicep. Right right where that star is, basically, it just hurts that whole area, about a palm-sized area. I believe it's scar tissue, even though I was very careful to take a lot of vitamin E and do a lot of protein after. It healed up reasonably well. I mean, I can work, I can do handouts, I can take care of myself, the cats, the house, I can, daily living now, but it does still bother me. And then I was doing a handout in November at Imperial Valley, and the accident on the bus actually happened at Imperial Valley and Greens Road. So Imperial Valley and Greens Road again, I will not learn my lesson. I was doing a Bible handout. I got off the bus and I sat up and I was started handing out Bibles, and I realized the Nation of Islam had already taken over a couple of the corners on this intersection. And one guy came over and he was harassing me, and he kept saying, you serve my God, and was the gist of what he was saying. I said, no, I don't. I serve this God, and I held up a Bible, and I don't know what else I said, but the gist of it was, I'm going to work, do whatever you're going to do. And I was handing out Bibles, and he was bothering my recipients and getting, trying to get in between me and them when they would open the window. And I was saying, look, he's not with me, and just roll it up. And then the next thing I know, all three of them were gone. And I got a little haughty about it. And, kind of a ha, yeah, I'm such a big warrior. Yeah, don't do that. Next thing I know, head over heels again. I tripped over the strap to my Bible bag. I set it down for a minute to rest my arm because those things are heavy, just dragging on my arm. So I just set it down, and then I went to give a New Testament to somebody, and I caught my foot in the strap, and it was heavy. The bag was heavy, so it wasn't moving, and I just went forward on my face, and I landed on the elbow and the left knee mainly, and it hurt a lot. It still bothers me, the elbow, but I can use it, so I didn't get medical attention. And I, it'll get better, but it's just probably going to be another month or two. And again, it does not like cold weather, so I'm trying to baby it when I can. But it's interesting to me that the other day on the bus, a couple days ago, day before yesterday, I went to the transit center, and it's a long ride, about an hour, and I had my buggy with me, yeah, the yellow handle there, and I was on the bus, and the bus was very crowded, and a guy in a wheelchair got on, so I had to stand up next to the buggy and pull the buggy back. It was in front of me. And I was talking to somebody, and the driver, had to do some kind of evasive maneuver, and the next thing I know, I fell forward over the top of my buggy. And my friend's like, are you okay? Because it was a bad hit. And I am. I don't have a speck of damage. So, most times God's got his hand on me. About a week ago, I was at a transit center doing a Bible handout. Some police showed up, and I always go over and talk to them. Is there a problem? Is there anything I need to do? Just giving respect, basically. And they said, no, we're fine. Thanks for the candy. They loved the tracts from Bible Tracts Incorporated, the Guardian tracts. And they rolled up their window, and I went to walk back to where I had my stuff set up. And I stepped in a hole, and I twisted my ankle, and I fell. And when I pulled my foot out, it was fine. My ankle was fine. So I would say most of the time I've got protection on me, but I think certain behaviors and attitudes on my part remove that protection. And also, I think God allows injuries to happen sometimes to keep me down low where I need to be. It's not anything I'm doing is what he's doing through me. And he can only use me as long as I allow myself to be used, as long as I am in the right place, which is down on the ground. And saying, thank you for using me because I am flawed, I am imperfect. Nothing is coming from me, it's all coming from you. You are using me like a glove. It's his hand in me. So that's the best description I can come up with. So, I do my best to remember that. But yeah, that is the arm of flesh. And it's interesting because before my first injury, I had been thinking one day, I use my right arm for everything. And it's my smart hand and my smart arm. And I can't really, like, twisting bottle caps. It's just been really horrible the last couple of years with the various injuries. Just trying to get the bottle cap off of anything's awful. Jars, lids. I need one of those rubber things. I'm going to look for that when I get paid. That you put on the cap and you can twist it better. Pulling things too is not fun. But happily I don't have to do much of that. But I just have decided, I need to baby the right arm as much as I can. So what I'm trying to do, and I was doing that today, I was scrubbing the bathroom, the shower enclosure. And I had the big brush in my hand, and I realized I need to be scrubbing with the left hand. So I scrubbed the whole enclosure down with the left arm once, and then I used it for some hot spots, and that worked okay. It got reasonably clean. And I think the more I use the left arm for like the muscle activities, the better I'll get. And I know the left arm was a lot stronger than it was a couple of months ago, because when I'm doing the buggy, I tip it back. I have it in front of me, and I tip it back at a 45-degree angle, and I'm pushing it with the left arm, and that works very well. So, it's just learning to adapt, and and I can literally say I am a Christian who has shed her blood for the gospel recently. So, I don't think these days is probably a lot, but a couple years ago I think that was, significant, but not these days. But anyways, that's it about the arm of flesh. And it's from an old hymn, the arm of flesh will fail you. All right.